There's a red.
Oh, yeah.
Fruit's good.
Yeah.
Got a crap to worry about.
Uh-huh.
We are ready. Okay, Veronica Valley Committee come to order at 2:05. Roll call, please.
Mr. Badun?
Here?
Mr. Popa? Ms. Esson? Mr. Walker?
Here.
Not Walker.
Walter.
Walter, she's
I'll
got it.
answer to anything, so that's.
Mr. Walter and Mr. Christensen.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Okay. Do we have approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Okay.
Support.
Support? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed? Okay, public comments? None? Okay, approval of the May 1st meeting minutes?
We
Motion?
have those.
Those were, yeah, I don't have them on me, but do we want to just,
Were they sent?
If you haven't seen them, we will put them in for the next, we'll put them in there for next.
okay, so we'll table that for the next meeting. Okay, discussion action items. First on is the Savin Weed Control Project. We have Mr. Dave Behrens here to give a report.
So Lori, it's Dave Behrens,
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's that?
Elmwood Township,
Elmwood Township.
volunteer to the Veronica Park Committee. 2 weeks ago tomorrow, Savin Lake Services did its first spray of the fishing pond. The committee had discussed, I got them to treat only for algae with this initial treatment. Their standard procedure is to mix the algicide in with the herbicide with the broader leaf pond invasive weeds. At that time, Mike, their techie, agreed with me that there didn't appear to be a lot of curly leaf or milfoil invasive species growing. We noticed several kind of small clumps that we could see from walking around the pond. Their recommendation was treat the whole thing with both the herbicide and the algicide. I got him to agree to do algicide only, based on his observing, well, you don't have a lot of this other going on right now. Their recommendation was, it's still gonna happen to you. It's still gonna grow a lot this summer, so we should put in the whole thing. But I was concerned about what we did 3 years ago now, which wiped out all of the vegetation and set us up for this huge algal bloom. So anyway, I got them to agree. They put in an algicide that, on consultation with Heather, just so you know, I did talk to her about this beforehand. It is chelated copper. It's not copper sulfate. The chelated copper, apparently, Heather said that's acceptable. It does not cause the mucus, the interference with mucus membranes in the fish like the copper sulfate does. So that was done. Mike told me he sprayed a little heavy because he anticipated that even the algicide would not back or stunt, slow down the growth of the milfoil and the curly leaf. I checked this morning. It appears the algae, he said it'll just turn brown and settle to the bottom. That appears to be happening. There's no more obvious growth of the algae at all. I did notice that these two little clumps, and I'm talking 8 or 10 little stalks in a clump like this, of either more milfoil or curly leaf, they appear to have been stunted, set back, right against the wall, all around the semicircle of fishing, right tight against the wall. There are a couple of those, well, there are weeds coming up right flat against the wall around, but out in the open, these two little patches that we saw, they appear to have been really stunted. So, I think But I don't want to be the only one making this decision. Mike Kajarwa from Savin agreed, Algicide now only, and yes, the contract we have with them is for up to 3 visits. So I got him to agree that he might be back yet before fishing day. And if needed, control for the broadleaf weeds. I don't, my personal opinion from looking at it this morning, Jordan said somewhat similar, that it really looks like we can get through fishing day without additional spray. After fishing day, then it becomes a decision, well, how much management do we want to get into and pay for? If it's really not necessary, we care less about the weeds after fishing day, than we always have. I keep remembering John Popa, he's not here today, John pointed out when I talked about some grander plans, he pointed out, hey, we're not trying to run a high-end fishery here. We're trying to provide the family fishing, the kid fishing. The critical thing is kids fishing day, et cetera. Don't get too wild in terms of what we do for management. So right now, when I call Mike back, I think we should say, it doesn't appear that we need another visit before fishing day.
Good, thanks.
Yes, common pondweed, which is native, is beginning to, I mean, there were a couple of areas where they're little oval-shaped leaves about yay big, and they're starting to cover more of the surface. But it's good habitat for the fish. And they were not touched, wouldn't even be touched by the other herbicide you would put in. But they seem to be growing very nicely. There's good vegetation and some cover there for the fish we put in. I just think we could take the chance. Because once I say, no, we don't need another visit, I know his schedule's going to get booked up. And they have it in the contract, at least it was, I didn't read this year's contract, but in the previous one, if we call for our own separate, you got to get up here and help us today, with another $100 charge, because he comes from Hale, which is over the other side of I-75, et cetera, et cetera. So I know you all haven't seen it, but I think we could get by with no other visit before fishing. And that's what I would tell him when I get hold of him and let him know what I've seen.
Right.
So are we comfortable with that?
I'm comfortable with, with the experts, the ones that, know how long the application lasts. And I don't know what the life expectancy of the fish they plant, how long they survive that aren't caught. So you don't necessarily have to spray anything. So if they live longer, it's more use. So I'm good with the experts.
Yeah, I think go with Dave's perception. We're at the 5th, so we're not that far.
I'm just not that far away.
Yeah, what is it, 2 weeks? It has to be at least 2
That's
weeks.
the point is 7 and have to come within 10 days minimum for any other spray.
It'd be awfully hard to pull all of that off. I'd say have him come, set him up for a visit after Kids Fish Day, and we'll see where we're at.
Now, one thing I didn't do, and Steve, I think I talked to you about this, and Jordan I had too. The contract was set up, I know, originally on their part, for the fish pond only, 1 acre of water. I didn't ask him, I didn't even ask because I already knew his situation that day. Hey, Mike, will you give us a big, broad, fan-shaped, single spray in the back pond? Some open water there. It's not really in the contract. 3 years ago, he offered. Today, this time he didn't offer because they were busy. And he said he had 2 more ponds to take care of before his day was over that day. Looking at it this morning, it seemed to be doing okay right now, too. I think if we have to have him come back, I'm certainly going to ask, hey, can you hit this just real fast in one spot, just,
When he gets it, he puts a bill for it. I won't pay it.
well, and my question to him was, would you get this without any extra
Well,
charge?
that's not what the contract
Yeah.
says.
No, the contract is not what the contract says.
So
And that
now-
took, yeah, and I came to understand that more clearly as I've dealt with it this spring.
Right. Well, if the contract calls for 3 applications and we do 2, could negotiate, say, the 3rd application to,
I'm not gonna say we can or we can't.
Okay.
The contract is the contract.
okay,
I'm trying to stick with, this has been one of the problems. We keep wanting to go like this, this is this, then we get ourselves in trouble.
Would you then not want him to do it without charge?
I mean, if he wants to give you a freebie, I'm not saying that. He says, I'm glad to do it for X.
Oh, no, I was
It's up
gonna,
to him, it's his material, his time.
no, I was gonna ask him for a freebie.
Well, him to get one. I just, he says, sure, and all of a sudden we see something coming through, and we go, it's what's approved.
Well, no, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you saying that.
I'm just letting you know, so.
Oh, no, thank you. So I'm gonna communicate to him, let's hold off, but we would like another look early July,
Yeah, let's get another visit.
see where we stand.
yeah, all right, works for
And
me.
he was very amenable to Altricide only now, and I will come back. And based on my phone call, does he need to come back kind of in a hurry before Fish Day? I think not. And I'll get him back here midsummer, see where we stand.
We should decide too, you know, at some point toward the end of this contract season with this outfit, whether or not we're gonna have treatment on the back ponds also.
So that we can get it into the contract.
So it needs to be in the contract, yeah.
Mhm.
And I think it would be important to treat the back ponds like the front pond. I mean, it's all one system and we're putting fish in both places. That would be my thought, to put all the ponds in the contract.
That's what you can do for next year.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Earmark it and then have it, because once we get into next year and we start redoing the contract, well, it's not in the contract, so we need to make sure that's in.
Are we okay with authorizing contract negotiations with the volunteer versus?
There won't be any
There's
contract.
no, yeah, there's not gonna be, we've
Well,
just
I
been,
mean, as far as, okay, can you do another spray and per our contract and that sort of thing? Okay.
No.
If he can get a freebie out of him, great.
No, I'm not talking about that, I'm just talking about, plans for the whole park as far as spraying and stuff and implementing the contract.
yeah,
As a volunteer, can he do that?
Well, but the contract itself, which will be followed, I don't negotiate.
We don't have that
I know,
authority.
that was the wrong word.
So next year, when I first contact them, I will indicate we want to add this backlog pond. And they will calculate what they need out of that. But I wouldn't be approving that. That will have to come to this group
Okay.
and on to the full commission.
It'll come here, but it has to be approved by the county commission.
mhm,
That's correct, because it's a contract.
Yep.
It's through there. But, I mean, if that's something you think should be done, then yeah, I'd be glad, if y'all want to, I can ask for a price.
mhm.
And then if y'all think it's worth it out of your budget, then fine. But until if you don't want it, just says no, I gotta amend my contract. Well, listen, ask me for a price. And then if y'all think it's worth it, then we go back through the process and get it amended.
If it's
It may
under,
not get
yeah.
sprayed until fall, but as the way the calendar's going.
Yeah.
But there you go.
If it's under 5,000, then,
If it's under my authority, I can do a lot of things.
Cool.
Under not my authority, but the ministry's authority. But because we have a contract, I'd rather go through the process of getting it approved by the county commission. That way, there's no questions asked.
No,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think let's stick with the contract this year. Let's not get it confused or confusing. I think they're squeezing us in because we're little and we're far away and the contract's done. If we'll get that one more visit out of them, I think we're gonna be in good shape. Next year, we can tweak it let's not confuse it this year, would be my opinion.
But I would also, when you do send it, says no, I said, well, for next year, when we ask you for this, would you please give us a contract to do the all ponds? And then he can submit it that way, and you can run through that way.
Well, this is,
But put it in his head that you're willing to pay for everything, and then everybody can see the systems. That'd be my advice to you, sir.
and I know that that's all needs to be done early. Even if I say something, that would have to go to Eric, Mike's boss, this fall.
Yeah.
It's something to
They get on,
refer again early in January, that we want new contract language covering this. It would then all come to us.
we would have to approve it.
All of that process.
Set in contract, let me put this in here. That's SAVEN?
SAVIN. You pronounce it Savin, I always say Savin. Savin Lakes.
I would do contract 2025. Price for all ponds. What I can do is I'm gonna put it into Lawrence, somewhere I'm gonna put it in a calendar to remind us in January to do this. For spraying all ponds.
Any questions?
Thanks, Dave. I know you followed that for several years, and so I appreciate your experience and what's happened the years before.
No, that's why I hung on.
No, I appreciate that.
Just a volunteer.
Right.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Now, two other updates for you.
Go ahead.
We approved, supported a 2% grant application last spring to the tribe. It was actually, the application came from Bill Watkins and his Youth Works organization, which is under Family and Child Services. It's an umbrella organization in Traverse. It included approximately a week's work by a herd of goats. That was not, Bill was not able to fulfill the contract that he has. I mean, it's his contract with the tribe, not ours. We simply approved his application, the county approved it, et cetera. He assured me last fall that he was going to fulfill the work he owed the tribe for that money. This year, the crews have been out there, well, I know 4 days. I believe they made the fifth day full week. They worked on autumn olive, but other, Bill is certified in a bunch of this stuff. They identified other invasives, and they put in, I believe, 5 full days. I happen to know 4 for sure. The goats are still to be scheduled for August. Once again, we don't control the goats. He doesn't even control the goats. His relationship with the goat people, they bring in the herd. They've established, and this I'll be part of with Jordan and Tom Adams, making sure we've identified the right approximately 10 acres that the goats will work on. And if there's something within that we don't want to eat, it'll have to be fenced. We'll work on that. But I think we'll talk about the area we talked about when we first thought we were going to get goats. And those people did come up, and I did walk a bit with Tom and Scott Bradley at that point. So I don't think there's going to be an issue, but that's still scheduled. Now, if you hike the park, I call it the backside, so it was the higher number of fairways on the golf course. But that part going along Maple Valley and of course the back boundary, you can see the challenge named just against autumn olive. There's lots of it visible. Most of Bill's crew work has been on what I call the front end. As you walk that perimeter trail, you can see immediately their impact from 2 years ago. We got them, we didn't get them last year. I can't remember the first application for 2% limit. Invasive species network, we gave permission to do a workshop there, not last summer, the summer before. They took out a handful of autumn olive in the front, but you can really see the difference as you walk that perimeter trail. The front of the park's much cleaner. showing far fewer automatic bushes. The back, there's enough that I know what it can do to an entire, I mean, I've seen what it did to Mason and Oceana County, so I know how horrible it would be if it ever got away from us. His crew worked on the back these 4 days this year. The next update's related. Al Zelinski, big-time volunteer who took out the beaver dams for us last fall. This you first heard about last fall. He came to us and said, you got 2 wet spots on the S-curve on the back perimeter trail. Don Clark and I are willing to get in there and cover that with soil and dry it out. Talking to Steve about that, he very quickly was able to say, ooh, wetlands. No. The next time I called Al actually to tell him, no, we've got to put a hold on all your ideas right now. He said, well, I figured out a better one, and it was simply changing the route of the path. So instead of this zig S-curve from the covered bridge walking parallel to Maple Valley Road, heading towards continuing on the whole perimeter trail. The trail now goes straight ahead, makes about 25, 30 yards, makes a left turn, and goes straight into the existing trail. Jordan had that, we went over it, Steve and I walked it, Steve confirmed, no, we're not covering up these possible wetlands without worrying about permits and all that kind of stuff. And Don Clark said, well, I'll put in a drainage pipe under the one wet spot. Did we make it drink? No. All of that. They're not going to do any of that. I mean, I made sure, don't go in there and just start fussing around. But this new trail's been mowed. Jordan got that done quickly. And it's going to work fine. I've talked to people who walked it, and walked the park before. I said, oh no, it's already very walkable. It's not real green yet, but the more mowing, it'll green up the rest of that. So that's there. That's been done. The old trail has little wire flags across on both ends to route people the right way, but it's not fully obvious. So just wanted to let you know those 2 things have been done. And Al and Don are completely aware they can't just go in and start messing around and fixing things. Al called me in the first place last fall, and that's when we started on this, but now he understands the wetlands, and no, we aren't about to do anything that requires a permit under the table. So I don't know.
I'm sorry, we need to get up. I happen to be the administrator for the county right now, so I don't want to, tell me what he thinks about it.
Yeah.
Don't.
I did spend 7 years on the commission and came to understand process much more deeply than I ever knew.
I'm the one who, if he does anything, I don't catch the heat, because now I know he may want to do something, to say, don't do that.
Oh, yeah, no, that's clear. It's fair.
I've got enough issues going on. I need one more, please. I'm just trying to get through till my replacement gets here. Him deal with that. Next week.
Or her.
Or her. Yeah, or her.
I won't step over the line.
You got something, John?
Thank you.
The overflow for Kids Fish Pond.
Remember, we got another meeting here at 3.
Yeah, I got
The overflow for Kids Fish Pond was functional last time I was there. I think Dwayne and I looked at it, or maybe it was Scott and I looked at it. And looking at the pictures from the old Kids Fish Days, there was quite a bit of board showing on the, around the circle. And I'm just concerned that if it's not flowing properly, it's going to be difficult to fish there. We'll be standing in water. I don't know if it needs another roto-rooter clean out or not.
I haven't. More recently have not looked at that, so I don't know this one. The pond seemed higher, but not up over the path.
Right.
Not even up to the curbing the heavy timber.
So there's quite a bit of curvature showing.
I'd say that much.
Okay, that's probably working all right then.
Quick one, Dave. What about the beaver situation?
When Al Selinsky on his own got in there and tore out 2 beaver dams last fall, we had the trapper hired, but Al just kept going in because he walks the park literally every single day, and he was just so disturbed by the flooding that had started again, the other bridge being flooded. So he got in there, we talked, but he got in, the beavers were driven off. So when Trapper Ron went in, he couldn't find any evidence of beaver continuing, so he didn't set a trap, so he didn't send us a bill. He didn't charge us anything for beaver. Again, we're under new rules where he can be hired any time of the year. Doesn't require any other permit. We can just declare on our public property that beaver is a nuisance, and we can get him in there any time of the year. Right now, there's no flooding, no new flooding. I haven't seen fresh damage on trees, which would keep me, although the first beavers killed so many near the path that I don't. But in any case, there doesn't seem to be a beaver problem at this point. There will be again. It'll happen. It's too ideal a place for them to do that. But it hasn't happened.
Okay, good. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks for your time.
Next item on the list, we could almost combine the issue of painting of the bridge. I kind of like to put that thing to rest. Some people want to paint it, some people say it looks good rusty. So if we want to combine that and discuss that, do we just put this whole thing to bed with the painting of the bridge? I'm fine with that. Any comments about the bridge painting?
Are we going to 3 instead of 2?
Well, I guess we can combine it with the 5-year, because if we really want to paint the bridge, or if people really want the bridge painted, that would probably have to be put into our 5-year plan, because that's not a simple task. Especially if you have to sandblast it and do all
I mean,
that.
you can leave that question there because, let's go back to the 5-year plan.
Okay.
Okay. We did, as you all know, we did go out, we just sent out a request for proposals. I'm disappointed to say that we only got one proposal. I was hoping to get a couple. It's a firm called MCSA Group out of West Grand Rapids. I haven't gone through it. I'll go through that more at the next meeting. I think I would leave that open as a question.
Okay.
To let them to exercise and go through, because I don't know what their process is going to be. You may want to talk to them. But, you know, they're going to want to really work hard at getting public input and getting your all's input and all the way around the board.
Mm-hmm.
You put it in there, unless there's something in there that's, I would say right now, dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to, if you don't do something, the bridge is going to fall down. Let it run and let it come out in the 5-year report. Let them figure that out for you through their process.
Cool, works for me.
I mean, that's my suggestion to you, but keep it on as a question mark. They come to you and say, what do you think? So, look, we've got this question. If you can figure that out for us, we would appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay. You follow that up?
Yep.
All right.
So basically, we just need to wait until we get this 5-year plan, the people together to discuss.
Yep.
Okay, well, I guess that's done. Any other business that we want to discuss?
Well, one thing that's been kind of battered around is the fact that speaking of the bridge, that it does not meet code because the boards are more than 4 inches open space between them. And that's a requirement that something not larger than 4-inch ball can go through that space.
That's bigger than just,
Pardon?
it's bigger than painting. So I don't know about it. I'm trying to look back, I'll have to look back on the report I got on the parks risk stuff.
Mhm.
I'm working now, just continuing to get the playground equipment with just around where they're supposed to be.
Mhm.
And I'll bring that up at the next
Yeah, that's 4B, next agenda, right?
or B, so, but on that one, I haven't looked at, I haven't seen that as an item that was given to me as a risk item, but I'll have to take a look at it, maybe something, because I don't see that as a capital project, it's a maintenance project.
Right.
Yes, I only bring it up because we were cited by some agency that did the review.
Well, no, I would say
And-
MRMA group.
And so I would want something, I question whether we should do something so that if something did happen, then we were told and we didn't do anything, so.
I understand, that's why I'm working on other items, like a certain pedestrian bridge over a dam. It's not because I want to do a bridge over a dam, but it's listed in a report that I have to do it. I haven't got to that one yet, I guess. Okay, but thank you for that. I'll take a look at that one, so.
Anything else? Any public comment?
Is there only one bridge?
There's only.
Yeah, there's only,
Yes.
well, there's the covered bridge, there's the bridge by the shipwreck, and then, of course, there's the big,
Which
Mac-
bridge is
It's called the
it?
Mackinac Bridge.
yeah, it's called, it looks like a Mackinac Bridge.
Mac Bridge. I haven't been there since it turned into a park. I used to go there to play golf, but I haven't been there since.
You can't miss it, it's front and center.
Yeah, I miss all the whimsical, probably park.
It's a quiet park, I like it. It's not a busy
It
park,
was a quiet golf course too, that they should.
only if you have a good shot, it's quiet.
Different now.
Anything else? Any public comment? Any other comments at all? Entertain a motion to adjourn? Okay. We just are adjourned.
So move. All right.
No, I didn't know if that was the question, whether she, but no, if that's what you want to do, yeah.